Hey everybody, Canadagraphs here. This will be my February and March question and answer video, and apologies if my voice sounds a little off while I'm doing it. I was eating literally while I was setting up this video, and I kind of choked on some food a little bit, and now I've got that weird raspy feeling at the back of your throat when you do it, so I've been coughing a bit, and so yeah, might sound weird. Anyways, let's get into this. Tom Gemavere asks, could you ever do a blog of you attending a set while one of the Arrowverse only shows are filming? That'd be really cool because I am so interested to see what a day of being at a set is like. Also, could you please talk about how the Best of 2019 awards work and when the winners will be announced? I sort of can't really, I mean, I could, but it would not be something that would end up on YouTube for doing a vlog, because there's a lot of copyright issues that would go around that, from vehicles driving by, people walking by with a particular song playing on the radio, just the content of whatever the scene might be, because I mean, you know, the video part of what I shoot isn't really a problem, but when the audio is attached to it, sometimes the copyright strikes happen over that. So that would be something that maybe I would do it on Patreon, but even then I'm just sort of learning Patreon right now, and I don't know if I would want to put in the time on something like that where I know it's practically going to no one, because right now I've only got like 3 Patreon subscribers, so maybe down the road, but not in the near future, probably not. As for my awards, I've been doing them now for 10 years. They are a thing I started basically because I was just curious who people liked, and well, actually it started before that. I started doing monthly polls just about the shows in town. I'd ask people, like, what's your favorite show filming in Vancouver? And so that's where it started out, and then at the end of 2010 I decided I would give out awards for the best of everything. And it only started with 7 categories, and now we're up to 25 or 27? I forgot. I know we had 27. I think we're at 25 currently, because I got rid of a couple of the categories. Basically, it's 3 rounds of voting. Round 1 is unlimited voting. You can vote as many times as you want. As long as you're not trying to use a bot system, the votes will count. Round 2, more limited. You're only allowed to vote once. There's a limit to how many selections you can make on that vote. And then round 3, except for favorite character category, because there's usually so many finalists for that, it is a 1 vote, 1 selection process. And then the winners, I mean, they used to be announced in March, but the last 3 years in a row, every single year, something has caused me to end up having that process drag out into April. So I would say right now I'd like to get them out in late March, but it's honestly probably closer to early April when they'll finally be announced. Tom Gemavere asks again, hey Canadagraphs, the main reason Victor Garber left Legends is so he could go to New York to be on Broadway. Now that he is returning to Vancouver to film this new show Family Law, what is stopping him from returning to Legends? Could we see him appear again? Anything is possible. I would put it more in the less probable category than it happening, but it is possible. This new show that he is doing is only filming here until early June, and Legends usually doesn't start filming until mid-late July. So that's like 6 weeks of time for him to have off between the end of that and the start of Legends, which I don't feel, my personal feeling is I don't think he wants to come back. And I think he probably would feel even less that with how campy the show is now. I think for him it's a matter of the quality of the product, and I don't think the goofy nature of Legends is something he's excited about. He could do it. I mean, like I said, it's possible. I would put it in the not probable category though, just because of the fact it really felt like he was moving on from that when he left, and the fact that they killed him off meant in superhero world, you know, people can come back from death all the time, but there was no other reason to kill him off if it weren't for the fact that he probably told them, like, I don't think I'm coming back to your show. So it's possible, but I would say probably not probable. Jordan Genovese asks, I'm very confused about how Batwoman films. How much of the on-location shoots are in Chicago and how much is in Vancouver? Obviously your latest video of Batwoman was in Vancouver, but how often do they fly to Chicago to film outside, or is the city just used for wide shots? They do film some in Chicago, but it's very little. There might have been a third time they've gone, but I only know of 2 times this year they actually flew out to Chicago to do shooting. And the first time they covered off 3 or 4 episodes of material in the few days they were there. They'll go to Chicago for like 4 or 5 days. They'll get the shots they need for exteriors of whatever they want. Usually that bridge that you saw them have a couple of conversations on and a couple other things, just to give it that Gotham-y feel. So they'll film somewhere between 3 to 5 days out there. That'll get them through like 4 episodes of material, and that's, you know, they only do that maybe once every 2 or 3 months. I don't know if they've gone a third time. I know I saw a tweet just this week that said they were out there, which is funny because they're also in Vancouver at the same time. So I'm wondering if it was a split unit. But 95% of the outside shoots you see are in Vancouver. Even to the point that that location that they used in Elseworlds, and I think at the start of this year, of the front of Wayne Tower, they now have a couple of other locations in Vancouver that they are using as Wayne Tower locations, even though they look technically nothing quite the same. So yeah, the vast majority of filming is done in Vancouver. A little bit is done in Chicago. This isn't the first time Vancouver has had a situation like this. Just a couple of years ago, before Lucifer moved down to LA, it was about half and half. Like half would be done in Vancouver, half would be done in LA. Then eventually they just moved it to LA. And you know, Batwoman is never going to move fully to Chicago because the rent of locations there is higher than Vancouver. I was told that specifically by someone working for the production. They're like, we just can't afford to go to Chicago and film there, you know, as a long-term solution. So yeah. LOL asks, how do you know when and where our shows like Supergirl or The Flash are shooting? There's a few ways. Twitter has become a pretty handy thing in the last few years, although is a challenge to navigate sometimes because of spam. Just people posting useless stuff that's got nothing to do with filming. For myself, it is not that hard for me because I live right in the middle of downtown Vancouver. And Vancouver's not actually that big of a place. The downtown core, you can walk from the north to south end of it in 15 minutes if you're in okay shape. So downtown Vancouver, it's easy to find filming locations down there. So I mean, I know what I'm looking for. I know what a film notice looks like. I know what no parking signs for filming look like. I mean, they look like regular no parking signs, but there's a code on them that I understand that the random person walking by wouldn't. So when I see things like that, I know something's going to be filming there. Then comes the process of trying to figure out when it is or what it is. Sometimes that isn't as known, but sometimes it is. If you find a film notice will have all those details on there for you. So yeah, that's more or less how I find these projects out and about. Jemiz Gaiman asks, will Nora return? Well, first problem is the Arrowverse really loves their Noras. I mean, there's 2 on The Flash, there's 1 on Legends. I feel like there's a 4th one somewhere for some reason. I'm assuming you're talking about Nora West Allen as opposed to Barry's mom, or the Nora on Legends that will be leaving soon. I don't think so. I mean, she might down the road, but I don't think she's coming back this season. I know there was that Instagram photo or whatever it was of her hanging out with a bunch of cast at a Oscars party, and the rumor is it was in Vancouver. I haven't been able to confirm that, but even if it is, she's from Vancouver, so it's not surprising to see her in Vancouver. From what I've heard from other people that really follow all of the shows and the showrunners and all these smaller details more closely than I do, is the new showrunner isn't as excited about the Nora West Allen character as the old one was, and so he's not really planning a return to that. She could return though. She could return this season. She could have been actually filming in that episode that the Instagram photo was taken during. I just don't think so, though. We'll see, though. But there's been no confirmation of her being on set. No one's got a photo of her on set. No one's seen her on set. So at the moment, that's an unknown. So that is it for the February and March question and answer video. For a March-April one, probably about the last week of March, I will set up the Q&A in the Communities tab, and early April I'll start recording it. If you have noticed in my videos, I've started doing the occasional live chat. I might do a few more of those depending how well they're received. Right now I'm still just testing out formulas for it. So look for that in the future, but until that time, that is it for this question and answer period. Thanks. Bye.